Hey, what's up guys? Clint here, back with another video, and I'm super excited to be working on this with you today. Check it out. What we're going to be building is a cryptocurrency API project with CoinGecko. So this is definitely the most fun I've had working on a project. I love cryptocurrencies. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that we've worked with the API before, but we're going to go a little bit more in depth today. So we're going to be using the useState and the useEffect hook to interact with our API. Then also, if you click on this link here, we're going to be using React Router DOM version 6. And we're going to be passing in some parameters to our URL there, and also some dynamic data. If you notice, we click on on Ethereum, we get all different information. So let's scroll this thing down to, scroll this thing down to a smaller device there. Perfect. And everything is displaying just beautifully there. So we're going to do everything from scratch. All the CSS, connecting with the APIs, the routes, everything. We're starting from a blank slate right here. So move this back over, and you know, we're probably going to run into some bugs, guys. That's okay. That's just part of programming, but we're going to get through it all. Stick with me, you guys. I promise we're not going to get stuck. So I hope you like it. Follow along with me from the beginning. If you want to make some changes, that's cool too. I'm going to put a link to the GitHub repo down in the links below. So I hope you like it, you guys. But like I said, we're going to get started from the absolute beginning. If you're a beginner, that's okay. I'm going to show you how to just start out using APIs and just running into little bugs and overcoming them. So if you're ready to get started, let's jump in. All right, starting off here, we are in VS Code, just a blank code editor. I'm going to go ahead and press the Control Backtick button to open up my terminal here. I'm going to change the directory to the desktop, and I'm going to create our React app. We're going to type npx space create-react-app, and I'm going to call this crypto app React. Go ahead and press enter. All right, it says happy hacking. That means we're ready to go. I'm going to pull over the folder we just created. This is our React application, and we're going to be working out of this source folder only. So don't worry about the public or anything else, just this source folder. So to get started, I'm going to delete a few things. This app.css, app.test, the logo, report web vitals, and the setup test. Just decluttering a bit here. Go ahead and remove those. We're going to get some errors if we start our server now. So to prevent those errors, let's remove this report web vitals. We're in our index.js. And so remove that. Go to our app.js, and we can just delete all this code here. We don't need that. And we'll just import React from React here at the top. So, and I'm going to delete this as well. And we can leave this as a fragment, or we can just leave it blank. It is all the same. So here we are. Let's go ahead and press the Control Backtick button to open up our terminal. And I'm going to start our server just to make sure everything is working properly. So let's have a look. Let's just have a look at that. And next, we're going to install some packages, some libraries we're going to be using today. We're going to be using Axios, React icons, and also React Router DOM. That we're going to install that one a little bit later. So let's see here. We have everything started up, and we just want to say, make sure everything is working. There it is. Hey, that means we're working correctly. So let's go ahead and delete that. So you can either close your server, or you can just hit this little plus button to open up a new terminal. That's what I like to do. So packages we're going to be using today is React icons. So npm I, we can say React-icons, and then also going to be using Axios. So go ahead and install these two. We'll just check this package.json. There's React icons, and there's Axios right there as well. Good to go. We're going to install our, we'll install our React Router DOM a little bit later. So change it back over here so I can see all my errors that React likes to give you. Let's go ahead and use our Axios here. So we're going to use useState and also useEffect to connect to our API. So let's import these at the top. We're going to use useState and useEffect. Perfect. And to do that, we're going to do right here. Oh, well, let's import Axios as well. Perfect. So right here, we're going to, just underneath this function here and above our return, we're going to say const, we're going to use our useState hook. So we're going to say coins. You can say whatever you want. This is what I'm going to call it here. Coins, and set coins equal to useState. And by default, this is going to just be an empty array, because we're going to be returning an array of coins, which I'll show you here in just a moment. Next, for our useEffect, what we're going to say is useEffect here. And basically the useEffect, guys, is just replacing the component did mount and component will mount. and stuff like that. So right here, we're going to say Axios.get, and we're going to take in a URL, which we'll go back and get here in a minute. Say .then response. This is going to be an arrow function that is taken in here. Set coins to response.data. And I'm going to go ahead and console.log response.data. And this is going to return an array. So what I want to do is just return the first item of the array. So we're just going to put a 0 to get the first item of the array. And then down here, we're going to say .catch. We're going to see if there are any errors. Oh, this is going to take in an arrow function with an error value here. And also console.log error if there are any errors. Then very important, you guys. So our API doesn't make continuous calls. We're going to put a little bracket down here to prevent that. So next, let's go get our URL that we're going to pass in. So let's go over to our browser here. And it's getting, our URL is not defined, which is what we're taking care of right now. So going into Google here, you can go to CoinGecko.com. This is a really great cryptocurrency API. I love to use it. It's very user-friendly, great for beginners. So I'm going to go to products, and then down here under developers, the crypto API. This is 100% free, you guys. You don't even have to enter in an email. You don't have to get a key or anything. Free and very easy to use. So going down here, we're going to go under coins. We're going to use this second one right here, the coins markets. So just click try it out here. And then I'm going to type USD because that is the currency we are using. And that's all I'm going to list for now. I'm going to change this one. So this is the amount of results, amount of coins we're going to get back. You can change it later. It's very simple. I'm just going to start off with 10. And then again, we can change it later. So go ahead and click execute. And this is our API here that we're going to be grabbing. And again, as you can see here, this is in an array. This first one is Bitcoin. Second one is Ethereum. So when we console logged out the first item in the array, this is what we're looking for right here. So now that we have our URL, let's go back into our code editor. And right here, we're going to say const URL equal to, we're going to put this in quotes. Just, I don't know why it gave a little extra there. Perfect. So, and here, right here is where we can change later on. If you want 100 or 120, you could say 50. So I'm just going to start, I'm just going to start off with 10, like so. All right, so now we are grabbing our data. Let's go ahead and go back into our application. I'm going to go to inspect here so we can see our console. Let's see here. Refresh, and there it is. So we get our Bitcoin here, and we have, this is everything it is returning for us. So perfect. So that means we are connected to our API, and we're getting a correct response and all the correct data. So let's go back into our code editor here. And what I want to do next is we're going to, so like I said, we're going to be working out of our source folder here. I'm going to create a folder called components. And this is where all our components are going to live. Our next component is going to be coins.js. Okay. And I'm using the React ES7 extension here. Really great for auto-generating some code here. So I highly recommend you get this if you don't already. It's going to save us a lot of time. So I'm just going to type RAF CE. It's going to generate a functional component and export us at the bottom. So now that we are in our coins.js, what we're going to do is, we'll see here. Let's go ahead and import this first of all. We can close that index.js. So let's import it right here, coins. Go ahead and press enter. We'll get auto import. Perfect. There it is right there. Give it a little space. So we want to pass through props. And the way we're going to do that is our coins here. What we're going to do is we're just going to say coins equal, and then in the curly brackets, we're going to put coins in there as well. And what that's going to do is passing our state down here. So in here to receive that, we're just going to, in here, take in props. And then let's do some JSX in here. So let's go ahead and code this thing out. So what we want to do, this first one, I'm going to give a container here. class name container, and then with another div here, and then within here we're going to have another div with a class name of heading, and in this p tag here, this is going to be a number. Let's go down here just to make things easier. Next one is going to be coin, and this one is going to be price. After price, we're doing 24-hour change, volume, and market cap will be the last. Save some space. There we go. So we're going to give some class names to just a couple of these for now. Coin name. And this one, we're going to hide these on mobile to just save some space. So I'm going to copy that there. Perfect. So next down here, we want to return these right underneath this div. And we're going to return these and basically map through our coins, but I want to map through another component that we're going to create, and it's going to be called coin item. So let's go ahead and create that one real quick. So I'm going to call this coin item.js. So let's go into our coin item.js. We're going to type RAFCE to generate our component here. And again, we're going to be taking in our props here. So let's go ahead and enter that at the top. And here in our first div, class name is going to be coin row. And then here, p tag, what we're going to be taking in is our market cap rank is what we're ranking them by. It's going to be this one on the side. So we're going to say props.coins.market cap, market cap rank. Perfect. And so if we go over to our back over to our browser, so the market cap rank, if we look in here, we look down. So first of all, our market cap rank, it is number 1 there, right here. So that's how we're accessing that. And just to be a little more, give a little more clarification. So we're passing in, we're storing this in our coins here in our state, and we're passing it down into coins.js. We're taking it in here. And then also, I'm going to show you, we're going to pass it down again when we create our coin item, which we're going to take in right here. So props.coins, which again is what we used right here. Props.coins.market cap rank is how we're going to access that. So going into our next, after this p tag here, what we want to do is create another div. And I'm going to give this div a class name of image symbol. And in here, it's going to be img source. And this is going to be props.coins.image. We'll give it an alt tag. Otherwise, React will like to throw a fit. And then again, p tag, this is going to be the coin symbol. So again, if we go back in here to our browser and we look at our coin symbol, which is right there, the lowercase BTC, what we want to say is grabbing symbol. What we want to say is props. So we want to say, I don't know why it pulls over to the left like that. So props.coins.symbol. And we can go back later and destructure this as well. So after this one, let's do another p tag here. And this is going to be the current price. So props.coins.current_price. I'm going to go ahead and copy this down a few times here. The next one is going to be price change percentage 24 hours. So price change percentage _ 24 hours. Perfect, like so. The next one is going to be total volume. Total volume. And then the last one is just going to be market cap. Perfect. And again, I'm going to be hiding these on mobile. So I'm just going to give this hide dash mobile. Copy that down real quick. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and save this so it aligns well. And it's not going to be working right now, so you're not going to see anything. We need to do a few things first. So in our coins coins.js, what we want to do is map through these. So right here, I'm going to open up some curly brackets, and what we're going to say, because we are passing our props through down from our app.js. So here we're passing them through. So now to map through them in our coins component, we're going to say props.coins.map, open parentheses here. We're going to say coins. It's going to take in an arrow function, and we want to return. And what we want to return here is coin item. So, whoops, I'm going to say coin item, and we're passing down our props here. Coins. Perfect. And see, coin item is not defined. That's because we need to import it here at the top. Coin item from. Perfect. And let's see how that looks. Perfect. So we're getting a response. We're getting some data on our screen here. Should be 10 coins, and it just loops through, maps through all of our coins. Perfect. So we are getting an error down here. Each child in a list should have a unique key prop. That is because React likes to have a key for each item here. So real easy fix. We're just going to go in here and we're going to say coins.id. That should clear up any errors we have. And we're using the coins.id because we're accessing this ID right here. So let's go ahead and refresh. Should take away our errors. Perfect. So next, what I want to do is we can go ahead and close these for now. And I want to create our little navbar here. Let's say navbar.js. And I'm also going to create navbar.css. And let's go ahead and create our functional component here. And in here, we want to have a div with a class name of navbar. All right. And we are using React icons. So let's go ahead and import this at the top. And I'm using the specific coin called FA coins from React icons. And then make sure you type in the FA here /FA, or if you're using a different, this one needs to be capitalized. If you're using a different icon, just use that prefix right there. Make sure you import the prefix. So I'm going to put our coin right here, FA coins, and I'm going to give this a class name icon. And close that there. And then in here, I'm going to H1 with coin search is going to be the name, but I want to give this search a little different color. So I'm going to use a span. Whoops. Span with a class name of purple, just like so. And we're just going to move this search to right in here. Perfect. So I'm going to give it a little space here, and let's go ahead and import this right here. So navbar enter, so it auto imports at the top. Go ahead and hit save there, and there it is. Let's have a look. Of course, it won't be styled yet, but there is our navbar here at the top with our icon. Let's go ahead and give it just a little bit of styling. So in our navbar.css, very simple, just a few lines of code here. We're going to display this as flex, and we're going to put everything in the center on both the X and Y axis here. And then our icon, I'm going to give this a font size of 2 rem and a color. We're going to be using a purple. It's the 6900 F. Perfect. And I'm just going to type that in here as well. This is for our span here. Okay, so, oops, we do need to import our navbar.css. Now let's have a look. So cool, that's what we want right there. Perfect. So going back into our code editor, we can go ahead and close the navbar.css and navbar.js. And what I want to do next is go in here to our index.css, and I'm gonna copy over the font I'm going to be using. So I just grabbed this font from Google, fonts.google.com. Real simple, fonts.google.com. If you want to pull over a font, we're going to just use the fonts that React is using. So, and I already listed it in here, is using Rubik. And I'm going to add in just a couple global styling. We're using this index.css for kind of like a global style sheet. So I'm going to use box sizing, and I'm going to set this to border box opposed to content box. And also I want to do margins 0 and also padding 0. Then just a few more things here we can add in here. I want to add the background color. Like that background color. And this one is going to be 26272B. And our color is going to be white, basically like an off-white. So F444. And same with our links. We want them to be F4 and text decoration. We'll say none. Actually, I'm going to leave this out for now, and I'll show you why in just a little bit. And our H1, text align, center, and let's give it a little margin. 1 rem. Perfect. So we can close that. We no longer need that. What we want to do next is create a style sheet to style our, we want to style our coins here to make everything look a bit nicer. So we have our dark background, which looks great. I'm using like a dark theme for this application. You can use whatever you like. So I'm going to go ahead and create in here our components folder. We're going to use coins.css, and I'm using the same style sheet for both this coins.js and the coin item.js, just to condense a few things here. So in this coins.js, what we're going to define here is the container, heading, coin name, and then these two hide mobiles. We're going to hide those on mobile devices. So the container, want a max width of, we're going to do 1140 pixels, margin auto, so it sits right there in the middle. And for our heading here, we're going to display this as flex, justify content to the space. Let's do space between, and align items to the center. We're going to give it a background color so it stands out just a little bit. 26272B. Box shadow, 0 pixels, 0 pixels. Let's do 12 pixels. 18191B, and a border radius of 8 pixels. Margin 2 rem top and bottom, 1 rem on the left and right. Padding, we're doing 0.7 rem and 1 rem. And then font weight 700. And for coin name, we want margin left. And I'll show you while we're doing this here in a minute. I'm not going to define the widths of each boxes here. I think I got it pretty close, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So you can go in later and kind of fine tune everything if you like. And for our media queries, we're going to say at media screen and max width. Let's do 720 pixels. We'll say hide mobile, display none. Okay, so going back to see how everything looks, I think we forgot to import something here. We sure did. Coins.css, perfect. So going back over here, perfect. So the way I did this application is, like I said, it's a dark theme, and I'm gonna have these little boxes with just a little overlay. So kind of like here, we're just gonna have a coin item, or each row is just gonna be a little box, a little hover event too there. So going back in here, let's style our coin items here. So back into our code editor, we can close this, and let's go into coin item and import cool. So we need to style our coin row here, our image symbol, our image, and our hide mobile here as well, which are already defined. So back into our coins.css, we're starting off with our coin row here. So the coin row, and we'll display this as flex. Actually, we're probably going to be using the same thing, so let's just copy this here. Okay, but actually I don't think I'm going to need this font weight, so we can just delete that. Everything else should be the same. And then we wanted to scale up when we hover, so I'm going to do coin row hover selector here. And on hover, I want to transform. What we're going to do, we're going to scale up, but very, very small, 0.14 or even 0.13, should be just fine. So transition, we're going to see 0.3s ease in out, and we're going to give it cursor pointer there. So next, let's work on our image symbol. We want to just shrink those down a little bit. So image, let's give it a height of 40 pixels, margin right 8 pixels. There's a little space. Width auto, and for our image symbol here, I want to display flex, align items to the center. Let's have a look now. All right, now that is looking pretty good there. Drop this down a little bit. Perfect, perfect. So one thing I want to show you guys. So I would like this to be uppercase, and these are numbers. I would like to see a little comma right there and a $sign. And same with right here with our volume and our market cap. So to do that, let's go back into our coin item here, back in our coin editor here, or our code editor here, sorry. So what we could do for current price, I'm going to put a little price thing there. And this is price change percentage. So I'm going to add a percentage sign there. Total volume, so we can add in. And then same here with our market cap. Now, to add in our commas is really easy. All we need to do is add a like a to locale string, and also for uppercase here for our symbol, which just is just plain JavaScript to uppercase, perfect. And then our current price, what we want to say is to locale string. And you can do this a number of ways. You can use the to fixed, like for example here, we'll use to fixed function there. And I'm going to say 2 because I want it to the second decimal point. And then here we're just going to say to locale string. And then again here. So, oops. So let's have a look and see how that looks. So perfect. So notice we have our $signs. Now we have our commas as well. That looks a lot better. We have everything scaling up. Perfect. So I'd say this application is already looking pretty great. And see, we already have 10 items here, 10 rows. So going back into our code editor, like I said earlier, if we want to add in 20 or even 50, we just change this right here in our URL. Have a look. And now we have 50. And they are all sorted by the market cap or rank. So that's where we're getting this number here. And we go down to all the way to 50, so, or 51. So that's how that works here. So I wonder why it did that. So that's just an issue with their API. They have the data in there. It's a little funky. So, but everything is working, excuse me, correctly. Now, what we want to do next, we want to create another route, excuse me, and add some pages. That way we can click on an item and see specific data for the coin that we click on. So let's do that here next. Okay, so to set up our routes, what we want to do is first let's install React Router DOM. So I'm going to go into my other terminal here, type npm I React Router DOM. I'm going to say @ then 6 for version 6. And I'm going to go ahead and check our package.json here, and there we are. Cool. Let's close that down. I'm going to go back into my other terminal here. And okay, so let's, in the source folder, we want to add another folder, and we're going to call that routes. So we're going to have our different routes or pages, and want a coin.js, and we're going to go ahead and create our coin.css as well. So, but we'll close that and come back to it here in a minute. Let's type refce to get our functional component here, and we can go ahead and close that for now. We're going to come back to that in just a second. So in our index.js, I want to have open your app, index, navbar, and coins.js. We're going to use all those just real quick. So our app, the entire app here in index.js needs to be wrapped with browser router, and go ahead and make sure that imports, if it doesn't auto import, make sure you type it in right here. Then that's it for the index.js. Now app.js, we're going to be using routes and routes. So let's import those here at the top, like so, from React Router DOM. Okay, so down here, this navbar here, we want to not include the navbar. So just below there, we're going to have a routes. Then within the routes, we want a route. And this route is going to say a path to the home page. And then it's going to take in the element. And then we can self-close that. And what we can do, we can just copy this coins component. This is where all of our coins map through. And we can just paste it right in there, like so. Now, the next route is not going to be self-close. Oops, what happened there? Root. The next route will not be self-closing. We want to put a gap in there. And this one right here, we want a path. And this is going to be our URL path to our coin page. So we want it to go to, I'm going to just say coin. We're going to say /coin. There we go. With the element, it's going to be coin. And then inside here, we're going to have a route. This one will be self-closing. And the path is going to be coin ID, like so, with the element coin. So that looks great right there. That's what we want it to look like. Now we are getting some error. It says we haven't imported coins, so let's do that at the top. That's right. Routes, and then into see coin there. So next, let's go into, that's all we need to do, I believe, right now in our app.js here. So we can go into our navbar, and we want to use the link. So import link from React.DOM, and we're just going to go right in here and say link to, we're just going to link this to our homepage. Perfect. So that's all we need to do for our navbar. Now for our coins.js, we want to do basically the same thing. Let's bring a link at the top. Now down here, what we want to do, we want each of these rows here to be a link itself. Okay, so not just the image or the text. We want the entire row to be a link. And to do that, we're just going to return, basically wrap that in a link. And this is going to, whoops, hate those pop-ups. It's going to be 2. Now it's going to be a dynamic link because we want it to pass in the coin ID. So what we're going to say, we want some backticks here, and then we want to say /coin because that's our route that we just set up. Then coins.id, but we want to wrap this here in curly brackets. There we go. And let's pass in our element of coin. Perfect. That's what we want to do there. Now, this right here, what we can do. So first off, let's copy this whole thing and put it inside our link. And this key here needs to be the outer and the parent here. So we'll just paste it right there like so. Perfect. Another error, we just need to import a coin at the top. So we do that right here. We'll move outside. There we go. Routes. Perfect. So now let's go into our coin.js here, and let's just do an H1 with say coin. Actually, we don't have anything in here right now, so let's have a look. So here on our homepage, notice when we hover on the row on the bottom left, you see our dynamic route. So Bitcoin /coin/Bitcoin, and this one goes to /coin Ethereum, and see if they work. Yes, it does go to our coin page here. So, and we could even type in here Bitcoin, and it goes to the Bitcoin page. But what we're going to do, and we'll click that to get back to our app here. So what we want to do in our in our coin.js, so to pull all this data, this is my example here. To pull out this data, we're going to be using a different API. It is from CoinGecko there, but it's just a little different one to get some different data. So let's go into our CoinGecko here. We're going to close that, and we're going to the one right below it, the coin/ID. And what it wants us to do is just type in, we're going to click try it out here, pass in a coin ID. So you can choose any coin you want. I'm going to use Bitcoin. I'm going to leave all that other data as default. Let's go and execute, and it's going to give us our URL. our API here that we're going to use. Does seem to be going slow here, I guess, because I'm recording. There we go. Let's just copy that. If you scroll down, this is all the different data. It gives quite a bit. We're not going to use all of it, but quite a bit there, as you can see. And it is in an object, so not an array. So we're going to use basically when we connect to our new API, it's going to be the same way we did in app.js with useState and useEffect. So let's do that. useState and useEffect. There we go. Now, just below here, I want to do our, let's see, we'll say const and then coin and set coin, useState. And instead of an empty array, we're just going to do an empty object there. Sorry, don't forget to put an equal sign there. So, and then under that, we'll have our URL. And go ahead and set this in some backticks because I hate how it adds that little space there. We're going to be changing this out here in a moment. So let's have a look here. We need to do our useEffect. And that's going to be an arrow function here. Okay. Oh, we need to import Axios as well. Auto import. Make sure it pulled it in. Perfect. So Axios.get. And it's, like I said, it's going to be the exact same. Get our URL. Then we get response. Or actually, you can just use, if you want to abbreviate it, you just start res here. But actually, oh my gosh. You can just say res if you want to do that. And then we'll say set coin res.data. And then we can do .catch, taking an error here. And we'll just console.log any error. Perfect. And don't forget to add our empty array here so our API does not keep running over and over. So since we're storing all this in coin, what we can do here, just say coin.id, because that is our ID in here, right there, so Bitcoin. And let's have a look and see. Perfect, says Bitcoin. Now these other ones says Bitcoin still because we haven't passed in our parameters. So what we want to do when you hover and you see our link at the bottom, /Bitcoin, that's a parameter, and we want to pass that in to our into our URL here, to our API, so we can get the different data. So the way we do that is we're going to use from the React Router DOM or useParams. So we do this at the top here. useParams, React Router DOM, cool. Then just right here at the top, from useParams. Perfect. Now, since we have some backticks in here, we're just going to replace this with our $, it's curly brackets, params.coin ID. And that's it there. So now if we go back here, our coin ID is our parameter, and that's what we're passing in here. So now since we're passing in the parameter, it's going to be dynamic and it should display the correct ID. So let's click on this one, /Ethereum. Perfect. So now we're getting some data off this. So now all we need to do is just code the whole page as it is. So let's move on right now and we'll code this page. All right. So to get started with our coin page here, let's go ahead and attach our style sheet. Import. This is coin.css. Perfect. There we go. Now what we want to do, scroll down here, we can delete that there. And let's replace this with a div with a class name of, let's see, coin container. Perfect. Once it within that div, we'll do another one, the class name content. Then here we want our h1, and this is going to be coin.name. I don't know why it pulls it over to the left there. And then below here, And content, we're going to use content kind of like as a container as well. So we can kind of reuse these, we go back over to our example, these little cards here. It's these little like floating cards. So I like that look. So basically we're going to use content over and over here. Probably should name that something a little bit different, but that's okay. So class name, rank here. This is going to be the coin rank. We want to span the class name, rank. We'll say rank BTN. We'll say rank. There we go. And we want this to be coin.market cap rank. Go ahead and save that. And where we're finding that, if you want to go back over to our API here, so if you scroll down, market cap, you have to scroll down and find it here. Market cap. There, right there. That's what we're searching for right there. So, and if we're going to go down and access these secondary and third childs, we're going to use the market data, and everything below this is under the market data for the most part. So, have a look here. Go ahead and click on our page. There we go. So going back, after that's what the market cap is. So just under this div here, we're going to add another div, class name of info. There we go. And let's do div, the class name, coin heading. And see. So what we want to do here, this is going to be a bit of an issue. Let me, so it's going to be a bit of an issue here. I'll show you what I mean. Coin.image.small. So if we try and look at this here, trying to load our image, there it is, perfect. Now if we refresh, we're getting an error. So if we go into our inspect console.log, let's open this up here. It says type error, cannot read properties of undefined small. So what it's referring to is this line right here. You cannot read the properties of small, and that is because image is undefined. So the way we're going to get around that, it's kind of a pain. We're just going to add a little bit more text. Here's what we're going to say. So we basically have to check to see if the coin.image is there, and then if not, then we have to, if it is, we need to proceed to the next object there. So what we want to say is coin.image, image, image.small, and we'll go down to the next level here. And let's give our little alt tag in there. Else, null, don't display at all. We can just kind of delete that there. So now let's go back, and there we have it, refresh. There it is. So perfect. And we'll click on Ethereum. There's a little Ethereum. Perfect. So I'll just stay in this little Bitcoin one here. Going back to our code editor, just underneath there. And we're going to have to do that on quite a few of these. So we'll go back and do that. So just under that image, I also want to have a p tag with coin name. There we go. And then also we're going to do a coin symbol. So let's see, coin.symbol. And we're going to get some errors here, you guys, so don't worry about that. We'll come back and there we go. Put this in here. We're going to come back and fix that. So if you're looking in the browser and following along, you will see some errors, but that's okay. Don't worry, we'll come back and fix all that. So, all right, just below this div here, we're going to div with a class name of coin price. And in here, we want, let's see, coin.market see, market data dot current price. And I'm going to put this in an H1. There we go. Perfect. And then underneath that, we'll go down just a few here. So inside the coin container here, but underneath this content div here, we're going to move on and we're going to do our table. So let's just go up here. And for our table, I'm going to give it last name of content. It's going to be table. Let's say T head. TR. There we go. We're going to have 6 headings. We're going to say 1 hour and 24 hour. And these are going to be percentage changes. 7 days. I think the next one's 14 days. And then it is 30 days. We're going to say 1 year. And I think that's it. I think I did one too many. So we'll just delete that. Perfect. Now, just underneath the table head, we want to add a T body and table row. And then under the row, let's see, we're just going to have 1 row. There we go. And we want see here. Why does it do that? Okay, I'm going to save it. Coin.market data dot price change percentage 1H in currency. It's kind of long, so there it is. Cool. So you know what? Let me make this easy. I'm going to copy all this down. Perfect. So the next one's 1 hour, and this one is going to be, what are we doing? I think it's 24. Yeah, and actually we want to go down a little bit further in here. It's .USD. Sorry. I'm going to add this down each one. Perfect. So for the second one is going to be 24. This one's going to be 7 days. It's going to be 14 days. This is going to be 30 days. It's going to be 1 year. Perfect. So now that we have that in there, what we want to do next. So see underneath this table div right in here, I have another div with a class name, content. In here, we're going to div a class name of stats. We're going to have a left side. And we're going to have a right side as well. Copy this down. Change that to right. So inside our left side, there we go. I want to say H4, and this is going to be 24 hour. I don't want that open. 24 hour low. Save that. Perfect. And then below there, p tag, and this is going to be coin.market data dot low 24 .USD. Perfect. There we go. And that was on the left side. Actually, what we want to do, we're going to put this in a row. So perfect. I'm just going to copy that, cut that, and paste it right in there. Perfect. So for this row, we can actually just copy this down one more time. So we're going to have 2 rows. And instead of the 24 hour low, let's have 24 hour high. There we go. We'll just change that to high. Perfect. Now on the right side, we want a row as well. So copy that here. And same thing. Paste that. But instead of the low and high, we're gonna have market cap and circulating supply. So market cap. This is gonna be market data, market cap, and this is gonna be circulating supply. And this is going to be market data, and then circulating supply. And we don't need the USD on the end. Perfect. So those are our two rows there. Now still inside, there we go. So just below this one here, we have our content. Content box, and we're going to give the class name about. We want an H3 about, and this is where we're going to put our description. So p tag. We want this to be coin.description.en. Cool. So that's it for our coin.js, I believe. However, if we go here, there are a lot of errors. So just like we ran into with our image, cannot read properties of undefined current price, so and so. So the way we're going to fix that is pull this thing back down, go back into our code here. So it is getting caught up right here. So basically, just like we did up here, what we want to say is coin.market data. I can't see market data there. Okay. Question mark. Or put in this p tag here. Say coin.market data. Man, it really helped if I could see. This is current price. Okay. That one's null. Perfect. So that's what we need right there. And so instead of a p tag, I actually want that to be an h1. So, and we can just delete this. So now we're going to the next one here. Price change 1 hour in currency. So if we go down here, perfect, all these. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna see here. We'll just type it like right here. We'll say, we'll wrap this. And we could say, data, we'll give a question mark there. Change percentage 24 an hour. That's right. Sorry, I'm trying to remember which one this is. Currency. Just leave that out here. Or see if we fix that. Did I make any errors in there? Let's go and see if we fix that. So, okay, so 24, so perfect. So we fixed that one, because that was a 1 hour. Now it displays a 24 hour. So let's go ahead and fix all these. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna delete all these. So I don't want to retype that. That was kind of a pain. I'm just gonna copy this down a bunch of times, and we can just go in here. So that's 1 hour. That's 24. This one is going to be, what's the next one here? I'm just trying to look here. 1 hour. Currency. Sorry, give me just a minute. Okay, this isn't the one we need to change. Okay, perfect. So actually, I'm going to put this in a p tag. So we cut that and just place it in here. Go and save that. Perfect. So it's the 1 hour, 1 hour. Perfect. So the next, what we want to do is the 24. This one is going to be 7 days. 14 days. 30 days and 1 year. So same here, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, and 1 year. Okay. Oh yeah, let's put all these in p tags. There we go. Sorry about that. A little bit tedious, but that's okay. I'll save that one. You know, it'd probably just be faster. I know this is kind of a pain if I just did this. There you go. Damn it. Sorry. 24, that's right. This one's going to be 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 1 year. Perfect. So, okay, I think that's what we need. So we have a question mark there. Perfect. Let's go back and look. Refresh. Find low 24. Perfect. So that's the next one. Going down here. This one right here. So what we can say is, let's do right above it. We'll do right below it. So data. Oh. The USD. And actually, I need to make a little change on this. We actually want to say that, yeah, that's right there. Market.low. We actually want to add in this. 24 hours. Perfect. That should be good there. I'm just going to copy this one down. We can just delete that. Then we're going to do the same for the 24-hour high. I'm just going to paste that. Low. Low, low. This should be low. So it should be high. 24 hour. Perfect. Then let's go down here. We're going to have to do it on this one as well. So basically everything, if it's not the first child, we need to do it on anything that's not the first child. So this is market data. What's this called? Market cap. Perfect. Then same with this here. Market data. Circulating. Supply. So let's save that. Sorry, I know that was a pain, guys. Let's save that and refresh. Market cap, type error, 84. Let's have a look. I may have typed something in wrong, so right around here. Yeah. Sorry, forgot to delete these. That's it. There we go. I think we're going to do it on the description as well. Let's double check. We're still having an error here. Market cap. Okay, here's a problem. And by the way, here we go. This is also an issue here. What we need to say is dot low 24. There we go. And this one as well. This one's going to be high 24. Okay, now let's have a look. EN's our description. That one should be a little bit easier. We can just say the coin description. Give it an empty string. Let's have a look. And we get some more errors down here. Let's have a look. H1 component. Where are H1s? It's not that one. And current price. Oh, you know what? I think this is .USD. And that means we have to go down one more here as well. So market data, current price. Let's have a look here. Let's refresh. No errors. Perfect. Awesome. So now, yeah, we still need, we're getting a lot of, it has our links displayed out in here. These actually should just be links and not actually A tags. So the way we can do that is use DOMpurify. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. DOMpurify, we're just going to install it and go over to our other, I think it's just DOMpurify. I don't think there's any dashes. We'll have to double check just to make sure. And basically DOMpurify, it prevents cross-site scripting attacks. So yes, there it is. Perfect. Okay, so we go back over here. And the way we do that, we need to import it at the top. So import, I think it's DOMpurify. I think this is correct. There you go. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. I know sometimes the little bugs can be tedious in here. So, but what we want to do here is we're going to say dangerously set inner HTML, curly brackets. We can cut those, and we're just going to put a, see, I'm going to pass this in. So there we go. And I'm going to cut that and this one, and we're just going to put some parentheses. Actually, I'm going to cut that out completely. So in here, we want to say underscore HTML, whoops, DOMpurify sanitize, and pass that in. DOMpurify HTML sanitize, and I think that's correct. Didn't close the P tag is all. And let's have a look here. Hey, perfect. There we go. So now we have our coins. These just link back to CoinGecko. So that is, that's it, I think. So let's go ahead and let's just do our styling real quick and knock this thing out. So at the top here, and like I said, we're going to be using this content box. So in our coin.css, we'll start off with coin container content, and I'm going to max with, let's do 740 pixels here with a margin of 1 rem, auto on left and right, padding 0.7 rem, 1 rem. We'll say display, flex direction column, our background color, it is, let's see, 26272B. Box shadow, 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 12 pixels. And we're using 18191B. And let's give that the border radius of 8 pixels. There we go, perfect. Now we want to do rank here, margin 0.5, 0. You know what, let's go ahead and we can, perfect. That's starting to look together. All our content already in those boxes. I'm gonna move this, dang it. I'm gonna move this down just a bit. I'm actually gonna shrink that down so we can see what we're doing and make this a little bit bigger. Cool. So now that we can see everything, let's move on to the next one, the little rank button. I like to be able to see what I'm styling. And let's see, border, let's see, 1 pixel solid, and we're going to use that purple color. So what was it, 6900 FF? Perfect. With a box shadow, we're doing 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 8 pixels. Perfect. And then we're going to do background color there. Border radius 8 pixels. And padding 0.2 RAM. Make sure, let's see here. Oh, misspelled that. There we go. Perfect, perfect. So moving down here, do our info. I want that display as a, not inline, but a grid. And then we're going to change this for media queries right now. Right now it's displaying as we're gonna have to fix that. So what we want to do, excuse me, is 2 columns, and then on mobile we'll shrink it down to just 1. So template columns, let's see, repeat to 1 fraction. Okay, give some space here, and on the info coin heading, let's display flags and line items to center. The margin 1 rem. There we go. And let's do, let's see, info coin price. We're looking perfect. Okay. And next we'll do our table here. There we go, a little margin on the top and bottom. Then table data, and we'll say table head. Give a padding, we'll say 8 pixels. Text align center. And we'll also, just the table head only, give it a little background color on the top. We'll just use that. Perfect. There we go. That's looking a little bit better there. So next we can do the stats there. And we want that to display as grid. And we're going to use grid template columns. Same thing, repeat. We'll say grid gap 2 rem. The width of 100%. There we go, flex. And we want to justify content to, actually we want to use space between this one here, and border bottom 1 pixel solid. It's going to be like a gray. Okay, the margin 0.6 rem. 0 and padding bottom 0.5 rem. So there we go. And we want this to change on our media queries we'll get to in just a moment here. So let's see, stats, row. We want that first child. I'm going to make this light gray. So what we can do is say P first child. It's like, oh, that's that first p tag there. And what's light gray color? D3, D3, D3. There we go. And next, let's see, the about, H3, margin, 1 rem, top and bottom, 0 on the left and right. How does that look? All right. I think that's looking pretty good. Now let's do some media queries. So I'm going to open this up. Awesome. Oh, we're not getting something there. We'll go back and fix that in a minute. Let's finish up this styling here. So for our media queries, we'll down here, say media, screen, and let's do a max width of 700 pixels. We'll do coin container content, and let's just change the max width to 100% here, but we're going to give it margin of 0.5 rem. Let's do it all around, and then padding 0 on top and bottom, 5 rem on the left and right. Then stats, it's a grid template columns. We'll just say 1 fraction, and this is hanging off the page here. Let's say table data till head, padding 3 pixels. There we go. Looks pretty nice right there, but we're having a problem. These are not displaying for some reason. So this is our 24-hour low. Let's go have a look. Also, I want to put some commas in here, kind of like we did on the first page here. So just to make sure, your Ethereum, excuse me, and we have all the data coming in perfectly, like everything else. Click check Solano, perfect. So this is what we want. But let's figure out why this 24-hour low. So let's go in here, and this is above here, or just below our table. Sorry. Why is it not? Just needs an H. And right here. Whoops. All right, perfect. There we go. Nice, nice. So let's go ahead and add, want to add on all of these probably, I'm going to change the symbol here. And see, 2 uppercase. And let's see how that is. Perfect. We broke something. Always happens. Cannot read properties. Okay. So that means we need to do the same thing here. So for the symbol. So what we can do, just the same thing. Say coin dot symbol. We'll just cut this. Cut this. No, let's see. Hey, perfect. And it's uppercase. And we could even, I'm going to add a little /USD in there. Cool. That looks perfect. All right. So let's move on and do that for the next one as well. So not for the symbol, but we'll do that for the price. And we'll just say to locale string. We shouldn't have to do anything here. Perfect. Let's add a little $. There we go. Now for our table, price change percentage. For our table, we can do, I guess the same. We could do the to locale string, or we could do to fixed. Let's do to fixed, and we can just add pass in 2 here, or even 1. Yeah, we'll do that. Then let's add a little %. Perfect. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to paste it here. And it should make our table look nice. Whoop, of course. Didn't even see that. All right. Yeah, perfect. Everything looking nice there. Then our 24-hour low. We'll use our locale string. These are just JavaScript functions here. And the supply we don't need, but let's add market cap. We definitely use $. Yeah, 24-hour low. We need our $signs here. Perfect. For market cap, do the same. Cool. All right, now let's have a look here. We don't need to keep logging that. I think we did that in app.js. So we can just, probably should have done that earlier. All right, so refresh here. We still have these links, all these underlines here. So everything perfect. So everything's hidden on mobile. I don't like those links here. We can just go into our app.js and tell you what, we'll just import index.css. I think we hit everything in there. Still, did we? That's why. We actually don't even need that. We'll just uncomment that. Perfect. There we go. I'm going to close this. See how it looks. Take it back full screen. All right. So we have our Bitcoin here, passes in some information. Bitcoin has our price here, has our data here. So it looks like we're down 14%. There we go. And let's check another coin here. Let's check Ethereum. Everything is passing in data correctly. Polkadot. Perfect. So, all right, you guys, that's it for the video today. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I'm sorry it's a bit drawn out. We ran into a couple problems, but that's all right. We debugged everything. We got past everything. That's just what it takes, just some tenacity to find out what's going on, and that's the life of programming and coding. You're always going to run into bugs, but if you just keep picking at it, you'll eventually figure it out. So thanks for watching, you guys. Hope you liked it. If you did, just give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. I'm going to be putting out some more React content just like this one here in the near future. So be on the lookout for that as well. So also I'm looking in, I've had some requests for some MERN stacks and stuff like that. So we'll be getting into some databases here in the near future. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you on the next one.